Hello, welcome to Board Game Bonkers. I'm Jay Sears, and today we're going to take a look at the top 6 best multiplayer board games that play best with 2 players. Now, before we get into this, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and 90% of you viewers out there aren't actually subscribed. Why not? It's free, doesn't cost you anything, so please do hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated, and consider giving our videos a like as well. Before we get into this list, let me just bring your attention to other videos that we create which might appeal to you. Our top 6s, we've also got our top 10s that we create, and we've got a better than, which looks at 10 board games better than the classics, and there's some good board games in those lists as well. So jump to the playlist and check those videos out if you can. Now let's get into this list, taking a look at our top 6 best multiplayer board games that definitely play best with 2 players according to Board Game Geek. Now, I played all these and I think they fit really well with 2 players and work really well. So let's get on to our number 6, and that is Mycelia. Now, in Mycelia, what you'll be doing, you have your own player board, and it's a bit of a deck building game, but not in its pure form. And players will start with identical sets of cards, so you'll be able to upgrade these cards. Now, throughout the game, what you'll be doing is acquiring better cards, and you'll be trying to be the first player to clear your field of dewdrops. So you've got your player board, which is your field. You have just dewdrops on them, just little gems, and then you'll be looking for the assistance of what are these forest creatures, I suppose, and that lets you upgrade your deck. And you'll also be able to develop your skills within the game as well by going there. And then you'll be able to transport dewdrops from your forest to what's called the Shrine of Life. Now, completing any of these tasks provides you the support of what's the forest goddesses, and that gives you some abilities and there's improvements that you can make. Now, you've got this double-sided player board, and that essentially is where the dewdrops are, and you're trying to get them off to the Forest of Shrine. And I really like this game. One, it's quite straightforward and simple in how it functions, but it's all got a bit of choice there. Okay, so you're thinking, right, what cards do I need to upgrade? Because I need these cards to be able to help me to do what I need to do. But also, I need to try and get the support from those goddesses. So I need to complete these tasks that then will help me and give me some better benefits. So I like that little mix there. And it doesn't try to crowd too much in. And what it does is it nice simplifies it and streamlines it a bit, but gives you enough choice and options, and enjoy that. I like the fact your player board is double-sided as well. So, and it's slightly different as well. So it gives you a bit of replayability there. So you're not just using the same player board all the time. But I like how the simplicity of this, but also a little bit of depth to it as well. And I think they've got a good balance here. A lot of people love this game, and I can see why, and it's highly regarded. And for what it actually does for such a straightforward game, it really does pack a little bit of a punch. I definitely recommend checking it out. So let's now have a look at our number 5, and this is Aftermath. Now, Aftermath is a bit of an adventure book. So if you like your adventure books, you'll enjoy this. And what you'll be doing is you've got these small animals, and you'll be trying to survive in this big, dangerous world after humans have disappeared. So essentially, nature's taking over, and then you're trying to reclaim civilization, and that's the theme. So you'll be forming this group of providers, which is your colony. So what you'll be doing, you've got such as guinea pigs, mouses, all those kind of things. So you've got unique traits, and what you'll be doing is placing them onto this book. Now, thematically, you're leaving your colony to explore this world. And there's 20 different story-driven missions. So you'll be trying to complete those missions. You'll be scavenging for food and supplies as you go through this book, and you'll need to watch out for these bandits and predators. So you get to then decide when you come across them whether you fight or flee to stay alive. And combat's through card resolution, which I really like, because instead of rolling dice, you're doing it through cards. So you'll be bringing back resources and information to help your colony survive. So when you go to the next adventure, you'll be better suited for that because you're more prepared by the tools that you've got at your disposal. Now, you'll be trying to compete contracts as well, so you'll be trying to complete them. I really like this, how they've kind of got the storybook. Each story is different. You've got these unique abilities, but it's not too fastly unique and different to like you might have in Root, for example. But I really do enjoy that. I think they look amazing as well. And I like the theme is different. these animals surviving. And I like the fact that you're kind of going out in this adventure, and I love the combat because you can have an option, you can flee or you can fight, but I like it's card combat. So you know exactly what you've got to play to try and obviously win in that combat. So I really do enjoy that. And I think this works best with two because I think it feels a little bit crammed with more than two people because essentially you're controlling a couple of characters each, really. So it's easy to manage with two people. And I like the adventures. I think the stories are okay, but I think this is more about this exploration of getting resources, taking them back, having a bit more information. So you think, right, I know what's out there. Okay, we need to be careful of this. Okay, we need to maybe go down this route. So I really do enjoy that. And I think it's something you could play with the children as well. So I certainly recommend checking it out. It looks lovely as well, and it's quite compact, so do enjoy that. And in fact, it comes with these lovely miniatures as well as a bonus. So definitely check that out, especially if you want card combat instead of dice rolling all the time or rolling for initiatives, which I find a little bit frustrating. So I actually prefer this one. I think it's a better way of doing it. So it's certainly up my street. Check it out, Aftermath at number 5. Let's now move in to our number 4, and this is Chronicles of Crime. Now, Chronicles of Crime uses a mobile app because you'll be scanning in cards, and you essentially are a team of detectives. And it works best with two is because it feels crowded with more. And I think when you've got more people and there isn't much you're doing, I think it can feel a little bit boring if you've got too many involved. And I think with two, you can kind of split it. And as you're going through this game, the cases do get a little bit harder and more difficult, and you start seeing links between other cases as well. So you'll be using this app, you'll be scanning the cards and it gives you a bit of information. There's also VR reality. So when you go to certain locations, you'll be able to scan that phone and then you'll be able to look at it, and it gives you a VR experience for about 6 seconds, which is a little bit weird because in a normal crime scene, you wouldn't just have 6 seconds to look at things. So you'll be trying to solve these crimes, to go through the story. Now, I do feel that you need a pen and paper, pad and paper, because you'll be taking lots of notes. The notes are in the app, but I find that a little bit fiddly. So I much prefer just writing the notes down on a pad and then referring that to later on through the story. Now, I like the back and forth with two players because you can share information. One can look at this and another can concentrate on looking at this in a little bit more detail, and you're sharing some ideas. I think when you've got more than two, it just feels a little bit clouded with all the information that's been shared, and usually you find that one gets left out more than the other. So I think it's better with two. It just plus when you're looking at everything and you've got the one phone for the app, it's a little bit fiddly if it's 3 people. It's just a bit smoother with two, and I think it goes a little bit quicker as well because you can just take turns scanning the cards in. Quite a simple system. I liked it. I did feel the stories gelled well and it evolved for this big story. I don't want to give away too much, but it did feel kind of a little bit samey and a little bit annoying with scanning the code in all the time. You can have it in an auto, so it automatically scans as it goes over the card. But I personally preferred the kind of older style detective games when you're kind of going through and looking at a storybook. But I understand why they've used an app, and I think the VR experience is quite cool. It's a little bit unique, a little bit gimmicky as well, but definitely one worth checking out. You've also got Detective. There's another type of game that's more about going online, looking at different sources of information. So it's a little bit different if that's more of your thing. Definitely check it out. And let's now move in to our next one. This is on number 3, and this is The Edge Dawnfall. I was going to say Downfall. It's not. It's Dawnfall. The Edge Dawnfall, which is a skimmage type of game, but it's got a little bit of an edge and difference to this. And I'm not a fan of skimmage games, but I much prefer this one, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So what you'll be doing is you'll be engaging in these battles. Now you've got card battle, which I much prefer over dice, as you know, and then you'll be using trying to engage in these territories, trying to take over them, and you've got these campaigns you'll be going through. Now there's crystals that we're trying to get control of, and that's why I think it's a bit different, because using skimmage games, you're kind of fighting between one another. This, you're kind of trying to take control of these territories where there's crystals. That's essentially going to help you win these campaigns. And then you'll be engaging in some combat, and I like it, it's card combat as well. And you've also got these special or unique units with these special abilities that can be enhanced using spell or progress cards. I really like that. I like that kind of fantasy twist, and even though I'm not a fan of fantasy, I actually enjoy this one. I think this is a lot better. And it certainly works much better with two because it's just you and another player back and forth. With four players, it just feels that one's usually left out for a while before it becomes your turn, and there's a little bit of downtime with that. So I think it's better with two players. It's a lot smoother. And I think the combat's really good because it's card combat, so you can kind of see exactly what you've got. But obviously, you're then trying to gauge what the opponent's got, but obviously, it's not by luck, it's by strategy and tactics, and I much prefer that. I definitely recommend checking this out. I think, especially like skirmish games, I think this is a lot better because it's not just about fighting, it's about taking control of your territory and then those crystals, and do enjoy it. So let's now move in to my number two, and this is a fairly new game. This is Life of the Amazonia, and this is an animal game all about Amazon and animals in the Amazons. So what do you do in this game? And it's very similar to a lot of other games of this type and this ilk, but I do think this works far better with two players. It's far, far quicker with two, and that's the main reason why. So let me just explain how it works. So first of all, artwork is stunning, beautiful. I love the pieces as well. So you'll be obviously creating this thriving jungle by discovering all these wild animals. You've got insects, you've got plants, cards look absolutely stunning. Now it's a strategic game that has obviously worker placement in it, or meeple placement. You have bag building, and you've got pattern building through your tile placements. You've having these tiles. Now what players will be doing is they'll place their land tiles out, that's your land, and then you'll be placing animals, plants, trees, flowers into those spaces, and that's your jungle. And you're trying to create this ecological rich environment. But you've got to be careful because each plant and animal has unique characteristics that you've got to consider when placing them in your jungle. So they only go in certain places. Now, actions are driven by this back building. So you'll be building this bag, you'll be taking out what actions you've got, and also animal cards that give you different strategic options and where you place your animals. I really enjoy this. I think this works really well, especially with two players, because it's really quick. So you're essentially placing your tiles down, you're looking at the cards you've got, where to place those animals. I'm going to take to see what actions I've got. I really do enjoy that, and in fact it looks stunning as well when it's all out. The meeples look great. I think they've done a really good job with this. And it doesn't overstay its welcome either, and it isn't over complex. This is, I suppose, the higher end of medium, perhaps before it starts getting into complex. So I think they've done a really good job at that, because usually I find some of the others a little bit more complex than I would like and longer than I would like. So I think they've done a good job of this, and I think the fact it looks absolutely stunning helps. But the strategic options you've got, I think, are useful as well. I've got to be careful what cards I want because I need certain animals that go in certain places within my jungle. So you've got to be careful of that and where you place it. So I do enjoy the options it's got, and that back building is a little bit different than others because usually you don't have back building in these type of games where it involves animal placement, etc. So I like that, and I think that's a little bit different in terms of the actions you've got. So let's now move in to my number one, and this is Ultimate Railroads. Now I was and about putting this on altogether because I'm not a huge fan of trains in general, but I think this is an amazing game in terms of the strategic options, your different victory paths that you've got. So in the Ultimate Railways, what you'll be doing is you'll be trying to build the largest and most advanced railway network. And what you'll be doing is you've got these workers, you'll be assigning them to these different worker placement spots to carry out these key tasks. And that's the main crux of this game, what you'll be doing. And then you'll be laying some tracks that help you reach locations as quickly as you can. You'll also be trying to modernize your railway, which improves your machinery efficiency, and you'll be upgrading your trains, and which will help you travel further along these tracks. You'll also be trying to upgrade your factories, which will give you better technology. Now you've got these engineers, which are really important, and you've got to use them wisely because it can give you an edge over the other players. And there's, like I said, there's different paths of victory here. And I love the options, the worker placement options. You've got a nice selection there. What do? To get this resource faster, go here to upgrade this. But I also need to get along the track. But I need to build these networks to get this further along the tracks. I need to upgrade my train because I need to get it to go further along. So I really like the different choices you've got, and I like the fact you can concentrate in one area more than others and try and use that as part of your strategy. So I really do enjoy that. I love the fact you've got your engineer and what do you do with it, because that's really important and give you a bit of an edge. So I love the choice in this and the crunchiness, and it is, I would say it's a complex game. It's certainly got a bit of crunch to it, and certainly got a lot of strategic choices and what you can do. And it sometimes can kind of ram your brain. I think when you've got more than 2 players, the problem with this is downtime, and that's why it doesn't work so well with more than 2. I think with 2 it's a lot quicker. And I think it's just feels a lot smoother with 2 players than it does with 3 or 4. And I think it's fine with 3, but I think 2, it just hits a sweet spot in terms of how long this takes to play. But I really do enjoy this for the strategic choices and decisions that it gives more than the theme itself, because it's not exactly the most exciting theme for me. And certainly the looks wise is a little bit bland, but I enjoy the game. I think it's a fantastic designed game. That brings us to the end. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please do hit that subscribe button. Consider giving this video a thumbs up. It really does help, and it also assists YouTube to recommend this video for others. And please leave a comment down below. Which particular multiplayer board game that you have that you think works really well with 2 players? Let us know in the comments down below. I'm always interested to find out what you, our viewers, like and enjoy as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jay Sears. Until next time, take care.
This is Bonkers.